Morning, guys. Dr. Ken Nordberg in heat-bound Minneapolis. I think we're supposed to be close to 100 again today with a high humidity. Terrible weather. So, and from what it sounds like, we're probably going to have a warm November during our firearm season here in Minnesota, which means like last year, we're going to have to bring all our butchering gear up to deer camp because we won't be able to hang deer very long up there without doing the butchering and getting the meat on ice. So something to think about between now and then. And I don't know where you guys hunt, but you might have the same problem. Something to think about. But you'll notice I've got a little different shirt on here today. I'm wearing solid blaze orange jacket and cap. It's got a hood on it. I commonly wear this jacket when we're dragging deer. It's lightweight and but warm if it's really cold out. So this is part of my hunting gear. But you'll notice that this is pretty bright stuff. And so the next thing I'm going to say is I kind of hate saying it, but solid blaze orange is very visible to whitetails, especially older bucks who are really sensitive to finding it in the woods. Now, I've seen some results of research done on color receptors in the eyeballs of white-tailed deer. And it appears from that research that whitetails can visualize all colors. They don't see the greens, the blues, the browns, all those colors, yellow. But in this last study I saw that they found no receptors for colors in the red spectrum. And that being the case, then if that's true, they see reds in shades from pure white to black. And real dark red would probably a pure black to a whitetail. Whereas blaze orange like this, particularly when it's bathed in sunshine and it really glows in sunshine, would be pure white. And it'd be like a glowing lighthouse out there in the woods. And especially if it moves, really visible to whitetails. And whether you're on the ground, and remember, if you're 20 feet up in the tree, whitetails can see 20 feet very well, about as well as you and I could see 20 feet. So you're still clearly visible at that height above the ground. And I don't think you need to be that high anyway. In fact, I think the highest you really need to be is about 10 feet. You can do as well 10 feet as 20 feet, maybe even better. At 20 feet up, you can be seen by whitetails 400 yards away, especially if they're moving, especially if you're wearing solid blaze orange. And then if you're wearing solid blaze orange like this, you're most visible to whitetails. So I hate to say it, when you're wearing solid blaze orange, you have a handicap when hunting, especially when hunting older bucks. It's something they can really see. And especially if there's sun on it, and especially if you're moving. But it's safe, And blaze orange came to be because it was decided we need to be wearing something that provides hunter safety. And I don't think anything is better than blaze orange for that. So, but keep in mind, when you wear solid blaze orange, you are most visible to older deer. Oh boy, they can see that so far away. Well, some years later they came out with, back in the 80s, they came out with camo blaze orange. And remember the original camo blaze oranges, they had browns and greens and black, different colors mixed in with the blaze orange. And I remember when I bought my first blaze orange hunting jacket and pants, or bibs, it really made a difference. It seemed like as long as you're sitting still up there, you were far less visible to whitetails. By 1990 though, it was becoming apparent that older bucks were spotting camo blaze orange, maybe not as quickly, but quickly enough to be frustrating. They were seeing that even when you're sitting very still, some distances away. And at that point, it became obvious that if you're going to be wearing camo glaze orange, especially when hunting older bucks, you need to be well hidden, well concealed. And nowadays, it's gotten to the point, at least in our camp, maybe you haven't thought about it yet, but you know, in my last seminar, we talked a lot about how important concealment is when you're hunting older deer, especially older bucks. But it's very important. It's maybe should be number one on your list. Become invisible visually to whitetail, using natural, unaltered, or very little altered cover, which is the very best for doing that. Well, it's hard to do in trees, especially if you're going to be cutting down branches to get up to where you're putting your platform, your portable stand, and you're making yourself more and more visible, and especially really visible while climbing to get up there, and then when you're up there, really visible when you sit down, and even when you're sitting very still, you're going to be very visible. And nowadays, and it's been that way for several years, I prefer sitting at ground level because it's much easier to find the kind of cover you need when you're hunting older bucks when wearing blaze orange. So blaze orange has been a problem. Well, what you wear in the woods, you know, the amount of blaze orange, and maybe even whether it should be solid blaze orange or camo blaze orange, is probably covered in your regulations. It seems like each state is a little bit different. But I remember when I first started considering buying camo blaze orange, I was at a sports show and I was talking about that. The guy told me, "Oh no, you don't want to wear camo blaze orange. There's a lot of hunting accidents attributed to that." And I went through, that was in Wisconsin, and I went through all the accidents for the previous 10 years, well, all the way to the time when camo blaze orange first came out, to check that out. And I found no evidence whatsoever that camo blaze orange was responsible for causing hunting accidents in Wisconsin. That being the case, I said, well, no problem, I'm going to start wearing them, which I have ever since. Well, camo blaze orange kind of changed a little bit. Nowadays, instead of having multiple colors, it's blaze orange with just dark, you know, like black tree trunks and branches all over and I'm not sure how good that is. I don't think it's quite as effective as in the old days when you had multiple colors over blaze orange. But that's about all you can get nowadays when it comes to camo blaze orange. But that might be changing again soon. Who knows? Because I'm going to show you some things about that. Yeah, my son John has been suggesting a camo blaze orange with red objects on it instead of black might be better. But anyway, you can see how visible this is, and if you're stuck with wearing solid blaze orange like this, you're going to have to work harder to make yourself invisible to whitetails. Well, I've been thinking about that for years, and I went to, like I say, I went to camo blaze orange. Well, now I've taken a step farther. Now, I want to tell you right from the beginning, I have it this year, is the first year I'm going to be researching effects or responses of whitetails to what I'm going to be wearing. And I might find that, this isn't any better than before, but I'd be willing to bet it's going to make a lot of difference. And I'm going to put on the kind of clothing I'm going to be wearing this year, and it's legal here in Minnesota, perfectly legal. But anyway, you know, it begins with get rid of blaze orange pants. Well, my blaze orange suit, now here, take a look at this picture of me wearing my camo blaze orange jacket and pants that I normally wear here in Minnesota when the temperature is really cold. I mean, you know, when it's well below zero, I can be perfectly comfortable all day wearing this particular suit. It's got lots of insulation and it's waterproof. It's a great hunting clothes. But man, look at all that blaze orange that's exposed, like against a snowy background. I think that would be even really, you'd think that, wow, with a white background, they wouldn't see you very well because probably looks white to the whitetails. But I'm going to show you another picture here. I think it's my son or myself wearing a solid blaze orange cap at a rifle range. Sitting at a bench rest, and you look at that cap, how white it is. I mean, it's glowing white. That's what the whitetails see. There would be quite a difference between a snowy background with branches all around you and this patch of solid glowing white in the woods, and especially if it's moving. I think it would be, even with a snowy background, be quite visible. But with camo blaze orange, with all the branches and tree trunks across the pattern, I think you would be far less visible with a snowy background. That's something to think about. So anyway, first thing I would do, and I probably will never wear my camo blaze orange pants again unless it's really cold, you know, like it's 10 below zero in the morning, and oh man, I gotta wear that quilted set of bibs and my jacket, that really warm jacket that day in the woods for sure. But lately, you know, about the last 12 years or so, we've only had a couple winters where it was really cold, including that winter when this picture was taken of me and with my camo blaze orange suit on it. That was a cold day out there, and the wind was blowing, a north wind, just really cold. Hey guys, look at this outfit, huh? This is kind of quite a difference from what I was wearing a few minutes ago. This skirt I'm going to be wearing this fall, and it's all legal. In Minnesota, you can wear a vest rather than a jacket. You don't have to have your sleeves covered with blaze orange. Camo blaze is fine. I've ordered a vest. I won't get it for a couple of weeks yet, but it's camo blaze orange vest, and a little bigger than this one. But basically, this is what I'm going to be wearing this year. Even if it's really cold, this jacket and pants I'm wearing, I will easily pull on over my larger and heavier coat and pants if needed. But what I like about it is, you know, well, before I start that, you know, my son John has been carrying this thing around the woods now for quite a few years. And he puts that on his lap when he gets to a stand site, and that basically gets rid of any unusual appearance of his legs out there. Well, I like this. This is called a ghillie suit. Ghillie jacket, ghillie suit. It's got leaves all over it. And what I like about them, those leaves are sticking out all over the place. And what they do is, especially if you got, you know, even moderate cover in front or around you, that's going to help make it more difficult for a whitetail to actually see the outlines of my silhouette wherever I'm sitting in the woods. And then of course, you know, if I'm sitting out there and my face is covered, the skin, my white beard, and my hands are covered, there's not much here that's going to attract the attention of a whitetail, and yet it's legal. So, anyway, that's quite a change, and it's legal, and it'll provide me with all the protection I need where I hunt up in northern Minnesota. Now, the idea of wearing clothing like this is to make it easy to find really good concealment in the woods. If I put this in somewhere out there where I've got, it could even be like a big boulder here and maybe some bunch of brush laying on the ground over on this side, or maybe some deep grass, or evergreen bough coming back down in front of me like that. With this kind of clothing on, I'll be almost completely disappeared. Considering the fact that too, where I hunt, there's quite a few scrubby red oaks growing in the woods. So the reddish color, it's not bright red like blaze orange, but reddish color mixed in with the normal color of the woods. And we have a lot of evergreens there, so I kind of like the green that's in this ghillie soup. I like that green. I'll virtually disappear out there. I'll be just a squirrel's nest or a pile of leaves out there and wherever I sit but with some color. But I think wearing this kind of clothing, I will be less visible walking, especially that last 100 yards to my stand site, and especially if I got plenty of cover that I'm going through on a deer trail, not on a trail that I've made, so that whitetail knows here's a new trail. The trail I will use, when they know themselves, they probably used it 100 times in their lifetime, and there's nothing unusual about it, just an ordinary deer trail. But wearing this kind of clothing, I will be a lot less visible to whitetails while I'm moving to and from my stand site, which is going to be a decided advantage, and a lot less visible wherever I sit out there in the woods. But with enough blaze orange on it, so any of my partners come within sight of where I'm sitting, and I'll sure know it before they get there because I'll hear them or see them moving, there'd be no problem. I'd be perfectly safe out there in the woods. So this, guys, is what I think is the ultimate today for hunting older bucks. If you're not too concerned about whether you take a big buck this year or not, maybe solid blaze orange will be just fine. But if you want to hunt older bucks today, I'm pretty sure after the next 1, 2, 3 hunting season, I'm going to feel really positive about this. I'm going to say, hey guys, you want a big buck, get this. Whether you're bow hunting or gun hunting. And with the gun hunting, keep the amount of blaze orange you're wearing to a minimum, a legal minimum, to be safe. But don't be covered all over with everything, gloves and cap and jacket and pants with solid blaze orange. It should at least be camo blaze orange, and even better, wear a vest. And you're all set, I think. It'll make quite a bit of difference, whether you're sitting on the ground or in a tree when you're hunting. Maybe in a tree you'll look more like a squirrel's nest up there. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the coming hunting season because of this, what I'm wearing today. Well, with that, time to quit. Before you leave, be sure to subscribe. And, you know, guys are subscribing a lot now lately. Starting to think more about deer hunting, I guess, which I'm really grateful. And hit that thumbs up button, too, if this is something you enjoyed learning. And I can't imagine you didn't enjoy it. And I'll be anxious to report on how this worked out after our coming firearm deer hunting season this year in November. So if it worked well, you're going to hear a lot about it. So with that, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Be sure to visit my website. Here's the link. Here you'll find links to my blog posts, my Twitter account, my YouTube account, my Amazon store with links to my ebooks, my son's eBay store, a money saver if you're ordering from Canada or other countries, my website bookstore, and much more.